Hey everyone, Kathleen Michelle here, and I have some thoughts that I wanted to share with you. So that's why I'm here. It's about our authentic self and some misconceptions that I think are out there. And I wanted to clear up about living authentically, not just connecting with our authentic self, but then how do we live from that authentic self? And just to clear up for anybody who hasn't already been watching videos or been in any of my courses or workshops that touch on authenticity, what I'm talking about is this pure self, our essence, our soul, our spirit, our light. There are lots of names for it, right? There are a lot of names out there to say the same thing. I call it our authentic self, our true soul self, our authentic self, our original, genuine self. And this is separate from our ego. And all of us humans have an ego, right? So it's nothing to judge. It just is. We can't not develop an ego as a human. And this ego, not in the Freudian sense here, but more in this sense of our role self, who we think we are, the identities that we've taken on, whether we think they're positive or negative, they're still the ego. So the roles that I might say I have are I'm a therapist, I'm a mindfulness guide, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a cyclist, I'm a camper, I'm a coffee drinker, right? So we can have so many labels that we give ourselves, and then we have ideas about what those labels mean about us, and especially our worth. And this affects our sense of self-esteem and what we think we can and can't do, what we deserve and don't deserve, right? And so we really want to be aware of that ego because it also tells us stories about ourselves. And we want to really especially be aware of those stories that make us feel crappy, right? That they're very stressful, like the stories of jealousy, of anger, of resentment, of pain, of stress, of frustration. We want to pay attention to those stories because they're often connected to our ego, trying to keep us small and in some ways safe, but that's a whole different topic, a whole different video, right? But our ego keeps us small and keeps us disconnected from our authenticity. And the reason that happens is because if we're living from our authentic self, quite honestly, there's just no more room for that ego. So when we're talking about living authentically, what we're talking about is getting better and better and better at noticing when the ego is in charge and doing what we can to intentionally reconnect with that authenticity, right? So being in line with that authenticity, that authentic self. And I keep pointing towards my heart because I think for me, my authenticity feels like it's connected in my heart and sometimes up here, kind of, I don't know, when if you know about the chakras, right? Like there are chakras that are up here above our head. For me, it can feel very divine and spiritual. That isn't that way for everybody, and that is totally fine. So I'm just sharing for me, it does feel that way. And so when I'm connecting with my authentic self, I'm connecting with what I would consider my spirit. So our ego doesn't like that. Our ego doesn't like it. Our ego wants to stay in charge and stay in autopilot and keep us going in that direction, even if it isn't serving us anymore. Okay? Even if it isn't serving us anymore, our ego wants to keep us going that way. The point of living authentically. We need to talk about that, right? What is the point? What is the point of living authentically? We know what it is now. It's living from our true soul self, letting that guide us, letting that be in charge because that's where we have our power. That's our true self. It's always in line with our values and love and healing and passions and purpose, right? And so we want to stay connected to that so we can have our best life. When it comes down to it, we want our best life. So the point of this is that we need to build the muscles. Most of us aren't super practiced at noticing the ego, using skills and strategies to move the ego out, reconnecting with our authentic self, and then staying connected, having practices that keep us connected with our authentic self. We have to build those muscles over time. And the more we do that, the more it becomes more automatic, it's just easier to access. Just like when you go to the gym and you start with, walking or running half a mile or 1 mile, the more you do that, the easier it is to not just like run 2 miles and then 5 miles, but then if you need to hurry up and, outside of the gym, you're hurrying up, getting somewhere in a hurry, you can speed your body up and it doesn't feel as jarring, like because you're able to, you've been practicing it. And so when you show up in real life, it's easier to use your body. So same thing here, when we're using the muscles of connecting with and staying connected with our authentic self, the more we practice that, the easier it is to reconnect when we notice we've disconnected. Okay, and then we might find ourselves effortlessly making decisions from that authenticity instead of from our reactive ego. So what that means is that we're making choices that are in line with our values. So for me, a big one is love, right? Like I value love above all else. And so bringing more love to the world. So when I make decisions, even if it's a stressful situation, I want to be making a decision that's coming from love. And that is easier and easier and easier the more I practice connecting with and staying connected to my authentic self, instead of the like, oh, I know I'm having this like reaction and I want to like say this thing, but I know it'd be hurtful, and oh, I could get passive aggressive here, I have to bite my tongue. It's just not as hard, right? Like, so there are definitely still times where I slip up and my ego comes in and my ego's in charge, but I notice it faster, I reconnect faster, and I figure out what I need to do to get back in path, back in line with authenticity. So why would we do all this work, right? Because it is work. It definitely is work. Noticing the ego, noticing where it comes from, doing the work to clear out the ego thoughts, which often means looking at our wounds. And a lot of us avoid that, right? And our ego doesn't want us to look at our wounds either. Because if we look at our wounds, it means that we might heal. And then we don't need the ego anymore if we're healing, because then we're more in line with our authentic self. Anyway, why are we doing this? Why are we doing all this work? If you want to know what your passions are and unapologetically live out those passions, whatever they might be just for you or seemingly just for you, or they might involve other people, they might involve doing things, advocating for things, creativity, bringing more of something special to the world, whatever your passions are, you're going to be more in line with those passions unapologetically, right? It's very empowering. When we live from our authentic self, we are empowered. We know we are not small. And that when we have thoughts of small or hiding ourselves or shrinking away or of puffing up, we know that's our ego. And we can come back to this place of knowing I am inherently empowered. Inherently powerful, nothing to prove, just is. And I can reconnect from that place over and over and over again. So we have more confidence, right? That's pretty cool. Just feeling more confident, not overconfident, not the type that's like overcompensating for not feeling confident. I'm talking about like pure, empowered confidence, right? So we're on purpose. If we know our passions and we live out our passions unapologetically, or sometimes if we're still doing it apologetically, we're on our path. We are on purpose. And that's just the way of things, you guys. When we are living from our authentic self, we are on purpose. Everything that happens is on purpose. And I know some folks don't like me saying that, and they bring up, things about, what's going on in the world or past tragedies. And I'm happy to talk about that and address that sometime. However, when we're talking about the things that are going on in our day-to-day life, if something not good happens, that's on purpose. It's supposed to wake us up, okay? So we start waking up. That's another thing, is that we're choosing to wake up, and we are on purpose. And our purpose is to heal, okay? That's my belief. That's at the foundation of One Moment Center and Authentic Rising and the self-compassion work, the Awakening Maitri, if you're in that group. So that's the base of everything here, is that my belief is that we are here to heal, and we do that by bringing more love to ourselves, and then without trying, we end up bringing more love to the world. Okay, so we're on purpose if we are healing, and those things that happen in our life, in our day-to-day life, things that maybe seem not so great, or we think that there are problems, they are here to wake us up. And when we look at it that way, we get to choose. We get to choose healing. We get to choose getting more in line with our passions and our purpose and the life that we actually want. Because here's what happened, or here's what's happened for me, you guys, is that when I've done more and more and more of connecting with my authentic self and staying connected with my authentic self, not only do I have a better relationship with myself, like I said, I feel empowered, I feel more confident, I feel like I'm allowed to take up space, whereas before I really did not. I was anxious, still have anxiety, right? But like I was anxious, like super anxious, wanted to not take up too much space. When I did feel like I took up too much space, I feel really guilty and embarrassed, and I beat myself up, right? So I have a better relationship with myself. I have a loving relationship with myself. The ego still comes in, still happens. But I use my strategies, and I return to love, get back on track with passions and purpose and healing. So, better relationship with myself. I'm actually authentically, truly connected with myself. I have a heartfelt relationship with myself. And so what happened as a result of that is I can actually have genuine connections with other people instead of surface relationships. Lots and lots of friends, a lot of people in my life, But that did not mean that I was actually connected with them, right? Authentically connected with them. So now I have these relationships that just feel fulfilling and satisfying, right? And friendships, family relationships, in my marriage, right? Like I'm able to like truly feel connected, not just, oh, I know you as a person, but this is more about me trying to not get rejected. Okay, so that fear has moved out. Love is the main player here, and that changes everything. My relationship with myself, and that has opened the door to have these amazing relationships with other people. That being said, some relationships also fell out of my life. And what I have found is the more I'm in line with my authentic self, some of those negative things that have been in my life, whether it was choices around food, choices around how I talked about my body, friendships, habits, right? It got easier for those things to just fall away from my life. I didn't have to try at it. Sometimes I had to make very value-driven decisions about setting boundaries, about choosing something healthy today, but I would come back to that shows that I'm in line with my authenticity, right? And when I come back to that place, some of this negative stuff or the things that aren't good for me fall away. I don't have to try at it. I don't have to force it. It just kind of naturally happens because it's in the flow. Whatever's in line with my authenticity, if I'm in line with my authenticity, whatever's in line with that authenticity will just flow. Okay, and anything not in line flows away. So these are the reasons, you guys. These are the reasons that I do the work. I consistently do the work. I didn't do a course once and then I never went back to the strategies. Like this is work. This is like every day making the choice. But the more we do it, the easier we get. And we just start noticing the seemingly miraculous changes in our life that make it so worth it, that I look back now and I'm like, I can't believe I didn't do that earlier. How did I not do that? How did I not know to do that work earlier? So many things could have been different or better or whatever, and like we can't undo the past. And like I was saying, everything is on purpose. Everything has a time. It doesn't have to be on my time, but it is on time, always. So that being said, I still cannot believe I did not work on this sooner, that I did not have the tools or the strategies, didn't seek out someone to guide me. But you guys, I didn't know how much pain I was in until I started to do the work myself and fumbled around and figured it out, but it was here and there, and sometimes I was lost, and sometimes I was doing too much, and because I was so desperately needing to feel better, right? And so I would overdo it, and sometimes I would be underdoing it, and I just didn't have a guide. I didn't have a path. There are many helpful tools out there, many teachers and videos like this, and all sorts of stuff out there. There's so much out there, but I still didn't have a guide. And that's why I love doing the Authentic Rising Society, and I love doing the Authentic Rising Focus and Mentoring Group. I love it. I love it so much. I love being able to be there for you guys, show you the tools that I've used, I do use in all of the different circumstances to deal with our ego, to build that muscle, to know when we're connected with authenticity and how to stay connected with our authenticity, and to start bringing those things into our life that serve us and actually bring abundance into our life in all the different ways. And the things that have been blocking that abundance, they just flow away. It's really miraculous. So that's what I love doing. I love being the guide that I never had. That's what I want to do for you guys. So hopefully this video has been informative for you. And if you are interested in joining that Authentic Rising Society, if you are already in there, or getting into the Authentic Rising Focus and Mentoring Group, the registration is open, but we start pretty soon. So make sure you get in there. All the details, I'll post links, everywhere for that, so you can look into the details if you want to. But please join me. I love it. I love it when we have a big group. I also love it when we have a small group, because it's always what it's supposed to be. However many people are in that group, it's what it's supposed to be. It's all online. You do get to talk with me, though. You get 3 individual calls or chats or video chats, whatever you want, with me throughout the course. And there's group discussion and things like that. So there's interaction, of course. However, it's all online. So you can do it at your own pace. You don't have to show up live anywhere. So if there's a snowstorm in April, like there almost always is here in Minnesota, or maybe you're in Australia, or who knows, right? You can still be a part of this. And I would love for you to be a part of this, a part of the Authentic Rising Focus and Mentoring Group with me as your guide. Okay, my friends, if you have any questions, get a hold of me. This is Kathleen Michelle. You can email me at info.onemomentcenter.com if you want to email me. You can message me on the Facebooks, or get a hold of me any other way that you would like to and feel comfortable. I am around. I love answering your questions about anything at all. Please reach out to me. I hope you are doing well. I'm sending you so much love, so many blessings. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it served you. I will see you around, everyone. Take care.